Good morning, class 9th. I'm your new physics teacher and my name is Dolly. In class 9th, you are not going to study physics very first time because from class 6 onwards, you people have studied that science is divided into three parts, namely physics, chemistry, and bio. So here is a quick revision of physics. It is a branch of science. It is a branch of science that deals with the study of natural phenomena. That deals with the study of natural phenomena. Natural phenomena means happening day and night, changing of season, and lunar eclipse, solar eclipse. These all things are explained in physics. The happening of these things, why day and night happen, because the revolution of the earth. How lunar eclipse happen, how solar eclipse happen, why wind is blowing, the setting of sun, the rising of sun. All these things are explained under physics. So it is a branch of science in which we study the natural phenomena, or you can say the events that are happening surrounding us. Events that happens in our surrounding. The events that happens in our surrounding. Like you all are sitting in your home and fan is running over there. Light is there. With the help of your mobile phone, this camera, you people are listening your teachers. So these all things, the working of all these equipments, electronic equipment comes under physics. So working of all the electronic devices, if anything that is happen around us is explained in this branch of science, which is called physics. In short, I'll say it is the soul of science. Now we will come the chapter name, the first chapter of physics that in class 9th you people are going to study is motion. This is your chapter name, motion. And I know this is not the first time that you have listened this word, because from class 6, 7, 8 you have listened about motion, you have listened about rest. So if someone asks what is motion and what is rest, the simple thing that students answer is, when something is moving, it is said to be in a state of motion. There are two states. There are two states in physics. One is state of rest and another is state of motion. So if something is moving, we will say it is in a state of motion, and if something is not moving, we said that it is in a state of rest. Now moving, not moving, what does it mean? Means change of position. Change of position. If I put this pen over there, it is not moving and it is not changing its position unless I used to pick it up. Now it has moved from there to here. From there to here it comes in my hand and it changes its position. So it is said to be in a state of motion. It is moving here and there. So when something changes its position, it is said to be in a state of motion. And if something does not change its position, it is said to be in a state of rest. Okay? Now, motion and rest, they are relative terms. Motion and rest are relative terms. What does it mean that they are relative terms? It means they relate to each other. It is a point of reference. Which decides whether the object is moving or in a state of motion, or whether it is not moving and in a state of rest. I'll take a simple example of it. Suppose this is a point A and this is a point B, and here is a tree. Now it is very simple. That tree is a example of something which is at rest because it is not moving at all. And here is a bus. And this bus is moving. It is a road. Over trees there, and the bus is moving, and there are 2 points, point A and point B. If a person is standing at point A, for that person, the tree is in a state of rest and the bus is in a state of motion. Not only the bus, the passengers who are sitting inside the bus, since they are moving along with the bus. So if a person is standing at point A, for that person the tree is at rest and the passengers that are sitting inside a bus are in a state of motion. Now for this reference point B, which is inside the bus, the point B is inside the bus. A person who is sitting in the bus, for him, the bus is moving forward in forward direction and the tree is moving in backward direction. The person is moving along with the bus in this direction, and it is assumed that he observed that tree is not in a state of rest, it is moving when bus is moving. So for a person who is sitting inside a bus, for that person the tree is in a state of motion, and a co-passenger who is sitting with him is not changing its position. So that person is in a state of rest. For a person who is standing at point A, this person is in a state of motion and the tree is rest, and the person who is sitting inside a bus, for him the co-passenger is in a state of rest because he is not moving and the tree is moving, so tree is in a state of motion. So now it is all about the point of reference, that from which point we are observing the object. So this is called relative terms. Who are relative terms? The rest and the motion are relative terms because they relate over each other. It is a matter of point of reference from which point we are observing the object. Now we come on a very simple thing that we said, a physics. In physics we deals with a physical quantities, and this is all the introduction of the chapter. These things you have to understand, and with the help of these things you can pause the video and you can write for just your knowledge. You can write it for just knowledge, because this is an introduction. It is nothing as such main in the chapter that you are going to ask question about them. A physical quantity. What is a physical quantity? A physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured. A quantity that can be measured is called a physical quantity. For example, time, temperature, mass, force, etc., distance, etc. These things we can measure. So all these things that can be measured is called a physical quantity. What about those things that we cannot measure? Can you measure light? Can you measure sound? Answer is no. You cannot measure light. You cannot measure sound. What can you measure? Their property. How? You can measure their velocity. You can measure their intensity. You can measure their wavelength. You can measure their frequency. All these things you can measure, but you as such light and sound you cannot measure. So light and sound are not physical quantity, but velocity, intensity, wavelength and frequency, these are physical quantities. So the quantities that can be measured are called physical quantities, and they are examples. Now we have types of physical quantity, and this is important topic of this chapter. There are two types of physical quantity. Number one is scalar quantity, and number two vector quantity. Number one is scalar quantity, and number two vector quantity. The simple definition that we have seen in the book is a quantity that has only magnitude but no direction. This is the simple definition. And those quantity that have both magnitude as well as direction. The quantity that have only magnitude but no direction, and the quantity that have both magnitude as well as direction are called vector quantity. Now the term comes magnitude. What is the meaning of magnitude, and what is the meaning of magnitude and direction both? Just take the example of this pen. If I ask, what is the length of this pen? What is the length of this pen? And suppose you measured it with the help of a scale. You measured it and you found that it is 8 centimeter long. So you said that it is the length of this pen is 8 centimeter. So this 8 centimeter is magnitude, means the number. So 8 centimeter is magnitude. You tell your height. You tell that I am 6 inch long. I am 5 inch long. You said it, na? So this 6 inch, 5 inch is the magnitude, means the number. The number is the magnitude. You purchased some apples from the market. You said I purchased 2 kilogram of apples. So this is the mass of the apple. So this 2 kilogram is the magnitude. So basically simple, the number is the magnitude. Now my question is that to measure the length of this pen, can we think about the direction? In which direction we have to measure its length, means from this end, from this end. And does it actually matters that if we measured from this end then its length is different, and if measured from that end its length become different? The answer is no. So to measure something, the direction does not involve in it. To measure the length of this pen, the direction does not come over there. We did not think about the direction. So this quantity is called scalar quantity. So the example of scalar quantity is length. That is why it is said those quantities that can be measured only with the help of magnitude. No direction is involved over there. Okay. So those quantities, those physical quantities that have only magnitude but no direction are called scalar quantity. For example, length, mass, time, temperature, and so on, speed, etc. They are scalar quantity. To measure them, no need to think about direction, or direction does not come over there. Therefore, they depend only on magnitude and with no direction. Now we come on vector quantity. In vector quantity, both magnitude and direction are important to measure it. We said a physical quantity is a quantity that can be measured. So how to measure? If in measuring them, direction is important, then it becomes vector quantity. If direction does not come there, the direction is not important, in the absence of direction we can also measure it, then it is called a scalar quantity. So quantity that have both magnitude and direction are called vector quantity. An example of such quantities are displacement, velocity, force, acceleration, etc. These are the example of vector quantity. Now displacement, if we come on displacement, then what does of displacement means? Suppose your friend is sitting with you. You are sitting here and your friend is sitting there. Now suddenly she has some work and she moved from this row to that row, and she goes there and sit over there. She has moved from here to there. This row is also there. Now I am teaching you in the class, and as I have turned back, I found that she is not sitting over there. So I asked, where is B? I asked to you, where is B? And all of you said that she goes there. Means she moves from here to there. Her position changes from here to there. So in which direction she goes? To the left of you. She has gone to the left of you. She might be gone to the right of you also. Now to measure this displacement, direction comes over there. Direction plays an important role. So this is called the example of vector quantity. To measure this quantity, we have both magnitude and direction. So class, this is all for this lecture, your very first lecture, in which we have some introduction about physics, I told you about physics, that it is a branch of science that deals with the study of natural phenomena, or you can say events that happen around us or in our surrounding. These all things are explained under physics. Then we come on our first chapter. The chapter first in physics is motion. We discussed about rest and motion, that if a body is changing its position, it is said to be in a state of motion, and if it does not change its position, it is said to be in a state of rest. Then we discussed that motion and rest are relative terms. That means that it is a point of reference which decides whether a given body is in which state, whether it is moving or whether it is in a state of rest. If somebody is looking from this point A, for him the tree is in rest and a passenger sitting in the bus is moving. But sorry, for those passengers who are inside the bus, a co-passenger is in a state of rest and the tree is moving. So it is all about point of reference from which we are referring to them. Then we discussed about physical quantities, because in physics we deals with the physical quantity that can be measured are called physical quantity. For example, time, temperature, mass, force, etc. Now, how the quantity can be measured? If in measuring a quantity only magnitude is sufficient, then those quantities are called scalar quantity. And if in measuring the quantity both magnitude and direction plays an important role, without them we are not going to measure them, then they are called vector quantity. And the example of a scalar and vector is scalar for length, mass, time, temperature, speed, etc., and for vector displacement, velocity, force, acceleration, etc. In the next lecture too, I told you how to represent the scalar and vector quantity, and this is an important topic of your chapter. I'll make you write the differences between scalar and vector quantity. This is the introduction, the most important thing, that is scalar and vector quantity. I'll give them notes of the difference between them, and we will discuss some more things about them in the next class. So this is all for today. Thanks a lot, class.